I keep forgetting that I can talk and say that I haven't started it yet. I'm trying to chat.
No, we're back up now.
I totally forgot about that. So I haven't actually started it yet. But is your husband really genuinely serious about wearing that?
Who are you asking?
I'm totally gonna butcher her name, Nirba. She's asking me about this chainmail bikini that I would make. The chainmail banana hammock.
I said that I'll make a banana hammock, but I'm not wearing it. Find some other stud.
And then I think her husband agreed to wear it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not that confident. Oh, by the way, welcome Rek. Everyone welcome RekMMO. He is all over the community. He actually has a podcast too that he's on every now and then called Camp Check. I met him at SOELive, got him a drink. Of course, that's the only thing to do at SOELive is drink. It's not the only thing, but it's the thing you should do.
I went for the whole weekend.
Well, you don't drink. I don't know.
But before we go into that, I want to explain to my fellow podcasters because I couldn't tell them that when we prepared for the 5 people, right? I had everything all set up, and then we went back to the 4 people. All of a sudden, when I wanted to close up on people's portraits, nothing was aligned right, so I couldn't go to close ups the whole time.
Oh,
you're forgiven.
Yeah, so again, if you're watching the stream, I am the technical guy. I'm the one running the show. You can
blame him.
Yeah. So, do we have questions in the audience that people would like us to answer? Now is the time to ask any of us.
Yeah, 4 of us were at SOELive, and we all had some hands-on time. Of course, the devs are in the chat room, but don't ask them. Ask us instead.
It's so nerve-wracking. I love it.
They're all cool guys, man. The one thing that I loved about SOELive was they're so passionate about what they're doing that they can put in 40-hour weeks doing what they're doing, and then still come to a weekend and talk about it nonstop over and over again with so many people. I'm sure they had to repeat things so often, but they always did it with a smile on their face. They always loved it. They're so down to earth that they just chill with you, drink with you. I mean, I had a couple drinks with Omid one night at the Heart Bar. It was a lot of fun. SOELive is fantastic, guys.
Oh my god, I had so much fun.
It was my first time, and it was yeah, me too.
I hung out with Omid at the pool party, and his excitement was genuine. We were just sharing, the excitement for this project.
You guys should have seen Dave.
It was really chill. What's that?
Dave Mark is like a little kid in his skin. He just jumps up and down. He's like, wait for my AI. And he's just like, yeah. He's such a cool guy.
Shurena, why don't you explain who Chad Mark is for people who aren't?
Dave Mark? Dave Mark, so Dave Mark actually, he is what's the word? Psychology guy. Psychology programmer, if those exist, they do now. He actually lectures at GDC every year on artificial intelligence, and he was contacted by Rodolfo, I believe, at Storybricks. They got together, started working on this concept about bringing artificial intelligence to life in MMOs. And then I guess SOE contacted him. They've been working together, building this brand new thing we call EverQuest Next. He's a really cool guy, super open. He'll talk to you on Twitter, talk to you anywhere. They're pretty much all like that, but yeah. Pretty awesome. He loves whiskey, I believe.
Well, you couldn't get that could you get that at the pool party?
Hell yeah.
Oh, you could? All right, well,
whatever you want.
If you were willing to stand in line.
Yeah, the line was long.
You know what you do to deal with the lines? You totally offer somebody in the front of the line 2 free drink tickets if they'll just let you cut in front of them. And most of the time, that totally worked. Well, I had a dozen drink tickets because everybody was like, oh, hey, do you want these? Do you want these?
I bet you could have sold them that night, honestly. Someone
no kidding.
Drink tickets.
Oh, God. See, I didn't get to go. So...
Well, is now a good time to bring in the pictures from SOELive?
Yeah, why not? Let's go through them while we talk about it.
Listen, is now a good time to rub this in Flatus's face? Let's rub this in Flatus's face.
So this first picture is great because this is the winning team from Planet Side 2 with their $6,000 first place prize banner. And some more PvP champions. There's a picture of Omid. with some people in their costumes.
Oh yeah.
Well,
See, I see this.
that-
I can't comment on these because it's so far behind.
it's Omid's entourage. That was
Uh, Hey, here's some picture of the costume contest, and though Brass is in the picture, she's not in the contest.
Oh my God, Brass's
She would have
costume
won.
this year.
that was
Well,
amazing.
I just
Hold on,
wanted to
I think
steal it, but
right, I
the
think
TR
those-
Max would have totally destroyed me on the way to steal her armor. So I don't mess with the Max unless I have C4.
Planet Side 2 had a huge showing at SOELive.
Oh yeah. Well, it's an amazing game.
Oh,
If you're a Terran.
here's a close-up of Brass's armor.
Brass is so fantastic. Like, I will admit, I went in I don't really care for dwarves. They've never been my favorite fantasy race, and then I go in and I meet Brass, and Brass is just so badass. Like, it's so hard not to fall in love with dwarfs after meeting Brass.
Her costume is so cool. When we were watching it, I was watching it that night. And then she just comes out like lit up. I was like, yes. And by the way, I also am Terran Republic, so it was so cool to see her in the red.
Yes,
Hell
yes,
yeah.
I also play Terran Republic too.
She had some kind of like readout on her wrist too.
She
Yeah,
did. I
uh-huh.
actually have
Yep.
pictures of that.
It said something about NC detected ahead or something like that.
Oh, you know what? I left out a picture. This is the community manager for Planet Side 2 wearing a non-Planet Side 2 costume.
Yeah. Oh, she was a purple Vanu Wood Elf. Maggie's really cool. I didn't actually get to talk to her as much as I
Yeah.
wanted to. She
I didn't get to talk to her at all, and I tried so hard, but she was always so busy, and I had such a hard time, like, interrupting people. I didn't want to be that asshole, right?
Yeah, wow, those were some amazing costumes. I think I'm going to try and wear a Vanguard costume for next year. Kylas and I were talking about it, that when the Vanguard developers had an Adara costume, and Adara is one of the signature figures from the Vanguard game, but they never had a Jarek costume, and Jarek is one of the other signature characters from that game,
Yeah.
and I was going to try and put together a costume piece for that.
So, comedic in chat, comedic, sorry, he's a medic who's funny, I suppose. He says, with the new AI and actions having consequences with NPCs, what are your thoughts on open world PvP that could cause a criminal record where it could get so bad? Okay, maybe it's server based, but I don't think you can have a sandbox without open world PvP. I need to be able to fear life,
Yeah.
not only from NPCs but other players. So give me my open world PvP server, and let me interact in a way that I can't on the PvE. I understand that PvE AI will be awesome, but I still want to fear other players too and have to band together.
Yeah.
I think I've said before in the chat that the most fun I've ever had is in those open world PvP situations, especially on roleplay servers where you have, this band of characters against that band of characters, and whatever it is that they're conflicting over is something that they're telling a grand story about, and that it's not done to grief, it's not done to mug, it's done because people are having fun, and this is one of the ways that they have fun.
I like to mug people in open world PvP.
I mean,
Yeah.
make it
Seriously,
so it's
I'll
a
sneak
crime.
around and follow them for a while and like have all my attacks planned out. And after like 10 minutes of following them, I'll just jump out and beat the crap out of them.
Yeah,
That'd be crazy.
PKing shouldn't be easy. That's the thing. Open world PvP. KOS on guards if you kill something, like that's an old mechanic, but you can make it even better in EQ Next. If you kill somebody, you become riffraffed. You're wanted for a while. Some guards might know the crime. You go to another city like all of Skyrim, and the other city doesn't know about it, so you can live there.
What
But
if there were bounties
there's
on
the
people?
possibility. Yeah,
Oh my
definitely.
god, bounties would be so
Yes.
badass.
I would love to see bounties on players' heads and like a little mark to note, like, it's condom down.
So somebody pointed out in the chat channel that the Eve has a sovereign system where alliances and corporations can stake their own claim in the world, and it's theirs, and they have to defend it. And if EverQuest Next can capture even a fraction of that, it would be absolutely amazing.
No,
I know.
yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of some of the Eve battles where, like, where they've destroyed some of their major, economic, areas in space, and there were like these epic battles, and people lost like real money. They're like they valued those fights
Yeah.
at real money.
Well, that's the other great thing about Eve is that since almost everything in the game can draw real world currency calculations, right? Like it cost me this much credit, which is this much plex, which is this much cash. That when you blow up someone's ship, you could be that was $6,000 I just blew up.
I
Ugh.
don't like that. I don't like that has real world implications because then, I don't know, you get into a point where the player's scared for real life stuff and not in game stuff. And there's a difference between being scared of being in an in game world and being afraid that someone's going to steal your $6,000 worth of stuff.
You just quit. You just like flip over the keyboard, and you're just like, I'm
God,
out.
dude, my computer would be destroyed. Are you kidding me?
I would. Both my hands would be under my desk, and I'd flip it. I'd just scream at the roof.
I'd love specialty servers. Mr. Inquisitor brings up RP PvP servers and restricting classes that way. I'm cool with that. But then again, that's a lot of extra work that the programmers and developers have to take out of the main game. So, I mean, it has to be something that is easily doable, that doesn't take away from development. But if it's possible, I'd love to see it. I mean,
and that easily could be
players the experience they want.
That needs to be a roundtable question,
Do they want like specific servers for different play styles and stuff like that? Yeah.
Or even the, should class restrictions be placed on
different servers?
On different servers and or even race.
If they're going to allow server transfers, then they can. Yeah. Because if you can create, on this server I can make a Dark Elf Paladin, but on this server I can't, but I can pay to transfer it over, then
that's true.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean,
that could be a reason to roll an alt, though. I mean,
yeah,
different. But I love a hard mode server where I get like one shot. I love that.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't mind if they said, my dwarf can be a paladin, but I can't be the Shadow Knight unless I go and find it in the world, but then I have to go through some trials to actually become a Shadow Knight. I'm okay with that. Like, I can't start off that way, but I don't mind finding it in the world. I can understand that. Like, I give me the ability to find it, but I can understand restricting me at first. Make it a little more difficult, and I would love that. That just gives me some challenge. Give me a little more, like, that's a way to give me challenge and still keep it RP and still...
Yeah.
Or like Inibra, if I'm saying that right, they want a permadeath server.
Oh my goodness, a permadeath server.
I'm out.
No, I will say that the text-based MMO that I first started playing before I played any other form of, graphical MMO had permadeath. But the only way that anybody ever killed you, and they call it walk the starry road, they make you walk it. The only time that ever happened is if you were really stubborn and really stupid, because the easiest way to avoid it was they would kill you and you would log out, because as long as you had favor with your god, you could resurrect. And so and every time you got killed and resurrected, it took one of your favors. So to make someone walk, you would have to kill them until they had no favors left over, and then you would just camp their corpse to make sure that one of their friends didn't come over and resurrect them, because their friend could resurrect them. And if you could do that, then you could permanently kill the character. But all you had to do was log out. Like, oh my god, this guy's killed me 3 times. I think it's time to take a break from the game. I'm going to go do something else.
Yeah, like in Guild Wars 2, I don't like that when I'm dying, I'm sitting there like this, but then I can just, like, if I kill somebody and then I'm just right back up instantly, I'm like, yay, like, just... Like, not even, like, I stagger up or anything like that. I'm just instantly up and then I can start fighting again. It's not...
Yeah.
Like, if I screwed up, give me something.
I want God of War combat.
Trendane actually brings up something really, really interesting, and the question is, if a troop of orcs ransacks your town and drives out the folks that live there, should they be able to loot any player-made weapons or armor and use them against you? Holy shit, that would be so... badass. I would love to freaking see that. I mean, why not? Why shouldn't they be able to do that? If they can kill you, why can't they take the stuff that you're carrying on you? It makes a lot of sense. Maybe not necessarily take all of it, but maybe there should be items that are designed to be lootable off of a dead player.
Yeah.
By the NPCs?
Yes, by NPCs, and then used against the other players. I think that'd be really cool.
If it's within the realm of possibility for the developer, don't take it out. Give us everything.
If you're
Yeah.
losing like certain items when you die too, that might like be good for the crafters. You know, if crafters are constantly having to like replace your weapons or whatever, it can be
Yeah.
kind of cool.
And they can even limit it, and they can say, "Listen, you can take resources off a dead body,
Mm.
and not gear, but at least resources."
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. Listen, if I choose to hit somebody and they kill me, and I've spent all day collecting wood, and I screw up and die, you've earned the right to take my wood. I'll go chop more wood down.
I think it would be actually more interesting if there was a player, well, not a player city. There is a city that is aligned to the faction that you're aligned to, so that you can walk through the city no problem, and you're off doing your own thing and not paying attention to the city. And this orc band comes through, ransacks the city in the scenario we just, put up there. Well, what happens if the orcs don't want to leave? They're in the city, they own it. So what if they like, okay, well now we're manning your guard towers, and now when you come back to the city that you're aligned with, now you're not aligned with it anymore. It's an orc city.
I
Then,
really hope something like that's a rallying call because that
That
sounds
was,
so fun.
doesn't it? That
yeah,
sounds like.
and that's the idea, right? That's the idea of the rallying calls. Is that would be the rallying call. And Dave said it on stage that we will tear down that city and start a different rallying call, or start something somewhere else. You spent all this time building up Halas. We will destroy it if we need to start a new rallying call. Why not have it get occupied by orcs, have it become an orc city, and us to save it? And we can call it, taking back Halas. And that can take months. Build up siege weapons and go and take it back, and then rebuild it, repair it, make it stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Twain is talking about how he's getting like
Weapons.
super excited and all of this stuff about EQ Next, and it's so true, and like getting psyched up like a little kid. And what's really funny is if you meet Dave Georgeson, he seriously is like a little kid in a freaking enormous ass candy store. The moment he opens his mouth to talk about video games, like he gets this enormous smile, like perma smile
I have a
on
really
his
good
face.
Dave Georgeson impersonation.
Oh my
Ready?
God.
Here we go. That's him 24/7. I swear
Right?
to you.
Here we go. Sorrow Fox makes this comment, right? And we were talking about how that the orcs might not be all dumb, right? They might have one orc among them that is the leader. So the orc band rallies together and they take over your city. What would the game be like if we could get a rogue to sneak in and assassinate the orc leader instead of challenging the whole group of orcs head on?
Why not?
That would be so cool. And it
That
makes
would be
sense
cool.
because, the thing is like you read about that stuff in fantasy novels all the time. Like this little teeny tiny band of travelers gets together, right? And they have like this one ultimate goal, and that ultimate goal seems really, really hard and really, really out of reach. But if they work together, right, they can totally succeed. It would be really cool to be able to play a video game just like that, where like these little tiny groups of like nothings get together, and by the end of their story, like there's epic battles. Sorry, too excited.
I mean, you gotta think, like, they went into this game, instead of saying, let's just make the same thing over and over again, they went in saying, let's question everything. Any and everything we can question about the MMO world and how games are developed, let's question it and see what we can turn out. I'm pretty sure there's going to be stuff that says, listen, we don't change this because this works so well that, it's hard, we can make minor improvements to make it better, but if you go too far from that, we'll kill something. And I'm pretty sure we'll see stuff like that. We'll see stuff that's very familiar, but I think the pillars, the 4 pillars I think those were the 4 cores that needed to be changed. And can't wait to see it,
I didn't think that a fully destructible world was possible. I'd heard people wish for it, but I didn't see it happening, and they figured it out.
I never even heard of it before. I didn't even think that was something that could be done.
See, here's where I get to really pipe in because so earlier in the show, like the actual show, I talked about how I played a lot of Street Fighter type video games, and I did. I grew up playing Street Fighter, and then I moved on to Tekken. And Tekken is like my absolute favorite versus fighter game, right? Yay, Flatus! Okay, so did you ever, if anybody here has ever played, I think the very first Tekken game that they did it in was Tekken Tag Tournament, the very first Tekken Tag Tournament, because I think we're on number 2 now. And in Tekken Tag Tournament, part of the world is fucking destructible. You can seriously like throw somebody or kick somebody or punch somebody into a wall. That wall breaks, and you can actually walk through that broken piece in the wall and fight in another section that you never saw to begin with. And I don't know if there were breakable floors and it could actually drop like an entire floor down, or you could go up a floor, but I know that walls were breakable and you could fight in water and get in water that was too deep for the characters to fight in. It was really, really neat.
Yep. And that's what, we started seeing that. There's very few games have a lot of destructibility like that. What is it? Battlefield 2 on the consoles and PC had destructible multiplayer fields. You could break down the walls, shoot away walls and stuff like that. And that stuff
looks cool.
Yeah, and I think Battlefield 3 even has that, and that was something really cool. Like,
it's
give
all
me
polygon based and it's authored content. We can have that, and it doesn't even have to be made.
Exactly. So, they did that on, like, remember the triangles? They did that with the triangles, the painted wall. And, we're doing it where, if I shoot a wall away, that'll break. That chunk will go away. It's procedural with the walls currently. If you blow up a wall, that it's going to be the same shape every time you blow it up. So this is going to be different.
And we do have. Go ahead.
I have another question to ask, but go on if you guys.
Just remember that there's a difference between permanent change in this world and temporary change.
That's really
so
important.
Permanent change is like rallying calls. You go build a city or you destroy a city. Temporary change is you dig underground. It's going to heal up after you. So you're going to be able to interact with the world. You're going to have to be able to experience all new things, but you're not going to have to worry about players destroying everything around you. And there's no more world. Because
I got a question about that too, but I'll let Tamley go first.
Well, this question is really simple, and it's: do you think that they'll put classes on the cast shop?
No, they better not.
And
no,
I'm gonna answer right now that I don't think they would. And I don't think they will, because even in their games that they have out right now, like Vanguard, there's no class, no race restrictions. You don't have to pay for any of them. I think that EverQuest 2 has one class that you have to pay for.
Free blood.
But I think that they've learned that they don't have to. Those are not the type of things that they need to put in their games to make the game successful from the bottom line point of view. They don't need to do that. And people get animosity towards that. Like, I have to pay for that. That's part of the game that I have to pay to experience. And I think that Dave Jorgensen said in one of his panels is that the pay structure of EverQuest Next is going to be away from those type of things. I wish I could quote him, and by the next show I'm going to have that part of audio or video where he says these are the things that should be there and these are the things that shouldn't. And I'm sure classes shouldn't. Feel free to disagree if you think.
No. I was gonna agree, because like when you first log in EverQuest 2 without paying for it, you get a bunch of ads say, "Hey, upgrade to." Like, I don't break my immersion for your.
All the fucking time, it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I went out, listen, I went full bore and I pay for I pay for the full access, for all their games, and I like that. I love the ability.
Too,
yeah, so I love the ability, and I should cover EverQuest Next. I hope it would add that in there.
Yeah, it doesn't cover Dragon's Breath right now, but that's made by Rune Waker. It's a little
and it was covering Wizardry Online, but then they removed it because it was M-rated, which kind of sucks. But and for anybody right now that wants a permadeath game, Wizardry Online, you do die in that game, and you'll have to start over.
Yeah. Real quick, at Trendane, he asks, will more stupid, meaning more primitive goblins or orcs be able to learn technology and grow themselves? I wouldn't put too much thought into this. I can't really mention anything, but think of all the groundbreaking things they're doing right now. That's pushing it to a level where that's a lot of data being transferred between servers and individual NPCs. We're talking about maybe a bunch of different players, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 players on a continent, and then even more NPCs, all having to remember things. It's better to do it probably on a game level, where the game, your client, remembers the interactions you have with all the NPCs and kind of compiles it into something that's easier for the game to disperse and read between the servers for lag purposes. So I don't know if it's technically feasible right now for that to happen. Maybe certain mobs could, but I don't know. I think it's groundbreaking enough. I don't know if we'll see that, at least not in the beginning. Like actual mobs leveling up and remembering you personally. It's more guided by the game.
Right, but I still think if you guys agree or not, that NPCs that they create are going to be able to be programmed to have different characteristics. Like a goblin is
Yeah.
going to behave differently from an orc, and that's where I call it the zombie NPC, where all you have to do is type in wants brains and then click go. That's just
Yeah,
what
no,
the,
yeah, that's totally possible. I mean, each NPC will have its guiding characteristic they add as all the story breaks. They'll put the variables in there, and then that'll use those to interact with the world. It'll still make emergent content. It'll be the ways it interacts with others, and the way two NPCs interact with each other will be totally different than the way they interact with other NPCs. So you're still going to have that. It's just not going to be able to like develop past it to add even more variables. I don't believe.
Okay, so here's another
But
question.
I don't know exactly. So
Here's another comment. A comment from the watchers. We're talking about different rule set servers, right? Right, PvP server, RP server, that sort of deal. What about a sub only server?
why? If the cash shop isn't, if okay, make it appearance-based cash shop or something.
Yeah.
I think you can have a cash shop nowadays and not have it interact with the game too much. Like, if you sell armor, make it completely available to get in-game or something like that, and don't make it super powerful. Make it just appearance-based or something. But make it purchasable. Like, if I can
Yeah.
craft something, then sure they could sell it too, as long as it's not something like groundbreaking.
I'm not looking at it from the I'm not looking at it from the point of view as like, oh, they need to have a sub only server to generate money. I'm talking about like, do you interact differently when you're a sub because you're I was thinking of more of it like I would feel more comfortable playing on a server where I knew that everybody else that was playing on the server was also sub, because you'd get less trolling. You know, less people creating like that fake
Maybe.
character
I
and
don't
running
know.
around with their free to play account, and then oh no, I did something stupid and got banned.
I played
Oh no,
EQ1
I
when
was
I
free to.
was 14. I think that's kind of a myth that free-to-play servers opened it up to more people than, I mean, it opens up to more people, but I think all age groups and immaturity versus maturity, it varies. Anyways, I don't know if I'm
Maybe
playing with those.
maybe as we were talking about like special rule set servers earlier, like maybe not have a special rule set server that it's based around being sub only, but like for instance in EverQuest 1, the progression servers are sub only, and that helps like pay for their upkeep, you know, and the development that had to go into that, you know. So, you know, so we're talking about these PvP servers or roleplay servers, like maybe those sub only.
I'd hate that. I mean, make the game free. I'm
Hmm.
not a sub guy anymore. I used to be a huge sub advocate. I hated free to play, the idea of it, but now that I play PlayInside, I play League of Legends, I play a lot of really high quality free games that I can, if I want to, purchase anything, but I'm not required to. I think that's the way to go. Let me download a game, let me enjoy it for however long I want before I have to make that investment. I get put off. There's so many games I'll spend like $50 on, $60 on, and it won't run right, or something will happen with the game, and I'm pretty much screwed. Like, I hate
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
don't-
sorry for cutting you off.
no, I'm done.
You gotta look at it like, look at the mentality, how it's shifted over the years. You know, when you first started hearing about pay for monthly games, you're just like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, what's going on here? I buy my games and I play them completely free of charge.
I missed out on that because my first internet experience was on AOL, and it came with a monthly sub. So it was like, you know, for me it was like, oh, I can buy this video game, and I can play the video game, and I can have fun doing that, or I can hang out online and I can chat with people all over the world. And then when the MMO came out, the sub model automatically made sense to me. It was like, oh, okay, I got it. I pay to interact with people all over the world. Fine, okay. But Penapod answered part of that is that they have the capability of banning by IP, so you can't just like recreate a free to play account. Like once they ban you on that IP, you're done.
I was gonna say with the shifting though, then you notice now over the years that people are okay with paying. Like they pay for Xbox Live, they'll pay for their World of Warcraft, they'll pay for the SOE Live, you know, All Access. You know, they'll pay for games, and then now it's shifting out of that, and it's shifting to a free to play model where it's like, well, we can make money out of these shops and still offer a great game. I mean, Rift,
Yeah.
you know, stuck with it as long as they could, and then eventually went free to play. And their model is pretty good. It's not too invasive. It's not.
Rift?
You know,
I think it has one of the best.
it's got, well, yeah, it does have one of the best. You can go raid. It doesn't kick you out of
Game, pretty
anything.
much, yeah.
You get the whole game, and you know you could buy gear. I'm kind of against that, but and it's not killing me.
You
It's
could buy the
not.
expansion too, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you guys think
If,
EverQuest Next will be expansion based? Do you think they'll continue with expansions, or it'll just be free updates?
I think they'll just do free updates.
I think it'll be free updates too.
Right. I think that they now that they've done the experimenting with their other games, that they know what they need to do, and that there's no need for them to charge. Well, I don't know.
I know you don't think like major content that they put work into they wouldn't want to make like maybe not expensive, maybe not like $40, but maybe like $10 gets you all new stuff to start.
My
Visibility Zero says Rift expansion is free, so I'd imagine it to be free.
My guild leader in Vanguard spends more on the game now than he did when he was paying for a sub.
I've spent over $200 on PlanetSide 2. Over appearance items. You have no idea how quick it goes. And they do these like triple station cash sales. You invest like $90 and you get like $400 of in-game cash. But you blow through it quickly. They have so many different appearance items that come out, so many different things that Smed said PlanetSide 2 is the most profitable game they've ever had, and it's completely free to play with no. I guess you can argue if it's pay to win. It's not really pay to win when you think about what pay to win is. But you can buy more powerful weapons. They're all purchasable in the game, but whatever. I've spent a lot of goddamn money on that game, and I think a lot of people have done that too.
And in Vanguard, it's not. I mean, he's buying like the unlocks to open boxes, and he just and it's. I think what it actually does is that people that are really passionate about the game, that they're really invested in it, they're willing to spend more every month than the basic sub. If you only give them the basic sub, that's all they're going to pay for because that's all they can. The only other alternative is to create multiple accounts and multi-box. That if you give them the opportunity, maybe instead of doing like $15 a month, they'll do like $30 or $40 a month, and you've doubled the amount of money that you're making off of the game, off of that one person. And he has no problem with it. They have no problem with it. Yeah, they feel like they're getting more out of it.
It's true. And then if I pay monthly, like for the All Access Pass, I get little bonuses here. Like they just had, I think it's still going on, the bonus for EverQuest 2, where I get the bonus XP button where I get extra loot, I get an extra 10% loot, I get 10% extra to XP gains, and that's nice, it's all right. I can, I'm cool with that. Like, I can get an extra piece of cloth. I'll take it. I'll take what I can and run. And I'm okay with that. I like little bonuses. If I'm willing to say I'm willing to give your game this much monthly and still buy stuff out of your shop, I am okay with bonuses. Hope you guys are too. So I'll probably still pay for it.
So what's the most free to play or most pay to win game you've ever seen? What is the worst game out there when it comes to
what's that tank game?
World of Tanks.
You can buy gold rounds that do more damage and you destroy people. How is that not pay to win? And you can't get gold rounds unless you pay. Sorry, that's completely pay to win. That is awful.
EQ and Thump in the chat room said Candy Crush. That's so
yeah, Candy Crush too.
Candy Crush. So I got bored with Warcraft. Every once in a while I get tired of Warcraft when I was playing it, and I'd play something else. And it was a game called Evany. And Evany was the worst pay-to-win model I had seen because it was basically like, oh, do you want 24 hours where no one can attack you? Here, buy this item. And so you'd be under attack from other players. And you'd be like, oh, I'm going to buy that. Forget it. And then like the golden ammo, right, where it does massive damage, where everybody else was limited to like 100,000 troops that they could send out at a time, 100,000 troops that they could send out at a time, unless you wanted to buy this one little item. It didn't let you go up to like 125, and that's like a quarter more than what everybody else could send out.
Did you guys play the War Z, or now it's known as Infestation?
No.
I did not, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they've
had some shady
It was
Pay to
all
win.
Oh, it was super shady. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could buy.
Omid, oh my god, Ebony.
Ebony. I
I
think Omid only played Ebony because of the hot chick on the advertisement.
You know, it's
I only played Ebony for the hot chick on the cover. Come on!
Yeah,
Listen,
for a while
Omid.
in
I was gonna say Omid may work at SOE, but he still doesn't get to play it next. He's still waiting, just like the rest of us.
I'm sure he's played it. But there's probably not too much to play right now, considering,
Probably
I don't know.
not.
Probably not too much to play. It's
So,
early.
you know what? So, totally and completely off topic-ish, I guess. Like, because we're talking about the hot chicks on covers of video games.
Oh no.
So, I'm
I have a
totally
feeling I
gonna...
know where this is going.
No, you might not actually. So here's what I want to know. Why don't we have any? And I'm just gonna say it. Why don't we have any attractive fat chicks in video games? I mean, really, I am not a skinny girl. I am not an idealized size 6, 5'6", beautiful, gorgeous, whatever. I want to be able to cosplay something that is like.
Well, this is a whole different show right here.
Oh.
This is a
I was
philosophy.
expecting more
This
banana
is a
skins.
hard-hitting topic.
SOELive. Okay, if I really had the balls, I could totally go to SOELive and dress up as Furiona. But nobody wants to see that. Really, I don't want to see that. Why don't we have...
Probably a few guys out there that really want to see that.
No, exactly.
Oh my god, you know what? That's probably totally true. I've actually had a couple of people at SOELive really make a resounding impression on that. But no, I want to know. Like, I mean, because we're talking about like the sexy girls. It just kind of popped up.
I think this has to go back to marketing and sort of the hyper reality we live in. We're fed these images since we grow up. Since we're children, we see hot women on TV, what people should look like, and it actually hits us all on a subconscious level. Have you guys seen the sexy McDonald's ad from over in Japan? It's like Ronald McDonald as like this sexy.
Oh my god, the Asian girl dressed up as Ronald McDonald.
Big Mac. I mean, it's a cultural problem when we really get down to it. But I think in video games, it's interesting because now there's like more women in gaming too. And I know we're going to have a show topic on that soon. But
Real quick, internet, please get a GIF of Chad doing Big Mac. Please.
So we get that.
Pretty please.
I don't know.
It'll get done.
I think I'm okay with all types of people. Men, women, like why not have a sexy guy on the cover? Like, I don't. It's an old mindset that people are still stuck in, is what it is, and it's going to take a long time to change.
It's funny, like if you look at anything that's media, like movies, video games, anything, and if you find what plus size woman, anything over like a size 14, 16 that isn't still really trim and sleek, they're all evil. Ursula. She's bigger.
Ursula's sexy.
She's a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
She's a crazy bitch. They're
It's
all
like BDSM
not,
right there.
They're totally not good.
Yeah, it's true. Same with fat guys too. Like they stereotype the slob typically, right? I mean.
No, it's true. No, you know what? That's where it's fair. That you know what? They totally make that even and fair when it comes to the bigger people. They do that to men and women both.
I think Chad just left, but Madua said he'd buy that Big Mac. So Chad, you sold one Big Mac.
You guys seen this movie? Sorry.
Yes.
You guys seen the new guy?
Yeah.
I love the fat guy, big black guy who wears his EverQuest shirt, and all he talks about is role-playing EverQuest. That's a stereotype right there. The gamer, especially the MMO gamer who lives at D&D, MMO gamer who lives. It's different. WoW kind of shrunk the divide a little bit, but it's still there. When I talk about like an MMO at my work at Red Lobster, all the cooks and stuff are like, "You loser," but then they play League of Legends, and I'm like, "You hypocrite." But it's still there. I don't know.
Well, right, and it's like we all grew up with this. This was that when the Nintendo and the Sega All those consoles came out when we were growing up, and then they realized that they can port it to the PC. We grew up with this; it was new, and now we're the first generation that are like, working adults that grew up with video games, and not just like, silly video games, but serious, deep, immersive RPGs and stuff like that. We're the first generation to do it. So the stereotype that, oh my goodness, you have to live in your parents' basement to be able to play MMOs or enjoy playing MMOs, it's completely false.
And these days, they're way more social, like video games. So
And
I get the
I
feeling
would,
the stereotype might break
right, I
eventually.
would argue that it is more social to come home from work and play a video game with your friends and like 40 people in a raid guild or whatever than it is to sit in front of your TV and watch
Hmm.
what was starting. It's Mad Men.
Uh, no, Breaking Bad.
Breaking
So,
Bad
yeah,
is
Breaking Bad.
right.
Uh,
I would argue that MMOs are more social than watching the premiere of Breaking Bad.
it
They don't,
is.
Sure.
because I'm
Absolutely.
interacting with people.
Absolutely. That's a big misnomer. A lot of people don't know that, when I log in to any MMO, that I'm logging in to with millions of other people and playing with millions of other people, talking, making friendships. This show is a good example of that. There was a call put out for people to come and start a podcast, and we came together just to do that, to talk about a game we were all interested in. We didn't know each other prior to this, and now we're developing a friendship, and we'll carry that on into the future of this game, and who knows where that'll go? Maybe a guild. I'm not trying to say there's an EverCast guild yet, guys, but I'm just saying, but we didn't have this. I didn't know, Chewina or Kai or Tanlin or Cal, and I every Saturday morning I wake up early because I'm just used to it during the week. I hop into Cal's channel and I watch him stream just because that's my morning thing to do now on Saturday.
And I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with trying to tone down my rhetoric now. Is that if you come home from work and you want to watch a television show, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that if you go and you talk with your coworkers about watching the show that premiered the night before, no one says anything about it. It's normal.
Yep.
MMOs are normal. Coming home and playing a video game, it's normal. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it.
It's sad that I can only go to like some of the IT guys at my job and talk to them about gaming because they're the only guys that are really like, no one else is. They're all like, oh, did you go bowling last night? I don't bowl. I don't.
Yeah.
See, and this is also going to be like another show topic, but like I can't talk about it with my female friends. It's a freaking pariah for me to be a gamer as a female, and it's ridiculous because when I was in college just a few years ago playing World of Warcraft, a friend of mine asked me what I did over the weekend, a female friend, and without even thinking about it, said I was playing World of Warcraft raiding with my friends. And the look on her face was, I mean, I can't diagnose. I'm not even kidding. I bought her coffee that morning, and we were discussing it in the line. And she asked me what I was doing as we got coffee like handed to us. And I told her what I was doing. I was like, I was raiding with some friends of mine in World of Warcraft. I kid you not. She looked at me. She's like, I can't even talk to you right now. And she turned on her heels and walked away. She didn't talk to me for a week.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because even before the show, like we don't have to play all the different games that are out there. But Calver and I were talking about like the Dota 2 championship, $1.4 million for first place. I mean, what's not to talk about? There's real people winning this real money. I mean, and the fact that there's some sort of social pariah to talk about it at work is a little bit ridiculous, and it's old, and it should change.
My friends and family don't even like know my YouTube or like the games I play. Like it's all like a secret life that I have, Because I had a YouTube channel before that I did like put on Facebook and stuff, and like people just made me feel bad about doing it, and I ended up quitting. So now it's like this like secret life I have.
Yeah, see, I'm the same way. Like,
Sucks.
I told my uncle about the show. My uncle's like super supportive. Like my parents, my mom would be kind of like, she'll be like, all right, it's kind of about a video game, but like my dad wouldn't understand it. But my uncle did. My uncle like on YouTube does like knife reviews, so he understands like what YouTube is.
Nice.
And he played WoW for a little bit, and I showed him like our video, and he was flipping out. And he's like, dude, you got 2,000 views. What's going on? Like, 2,000 views is kind of, he has never seen that on his channel. So like for him, that was a big deal, and he was totally stoked. And I showed him the video for EverQuest Next, and he's like, "Want to build me a gaming PC?" I was like, "Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it."
Yeah, Kai Lest and I talked about it because I had my Facebook profile and it has all my friends and family on it, and then I have a gamer profile on Facebook, and I keep them separate. And I'm like, haven't we moved a bit beyond that? Isn't it time to merge them a little bit? You know?
Yeah, see, I don't think we should. I think as a group, I think everybody watching here tonight, I think we all come here for the same purpose, that we're all gamers, we're all people, and we shouldn't have to hide that. We shouldn't be ashamed of who we are. And I think that's a perfect reason for all of us to keep doing what we're doing here and spreading the word about.
Just wait till you're E-famous.
Omid
Put it in your
says
pants.
my parents used to give me crap about playing Magic until Wizards of the Coast hired me. That is so amazing. I played I played Magic myself for quite a long time, and I never told anybody that wasn't playing that I was playing, because I was in my early and mid-teens at the time, and a girl playing games like 15 years ago, to totally date myself, almost 20 now, was really a big deal. Like, I could walk into tournaments and most of the guys would just give up and say, I'm not even gonna bother playing her. Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of my favorite quote from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame introduction, and I think it was the Clash. It was one of the members of the Clash, and they're inducting him into the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he says, "Okay, Mom, I promise that if this rock and roll thing doesn't work out, I'm going right back to school." It's like, do what you love, be passionate about it. There's another song that I always quote when people have that reservation and that hesitation. I'm like, let your freak flag fly. You'll be, other people will see it and they'll let the haters hate, but be who you are. Let your freak flag fly.
I love that. I've been married to the guy for almost 2 years, and I don't think I've ever heard him say, let the freak flag fly.
You're here to hear first, guys. Only on EverCast.
I knew so little about you. What the hell?
Well, see, the problem with my Facebook, keeping them separate right now, is that my gamer profile has like 500 friends on it, and so it's like, do I close that one down, because that's like 500 people that I don't get to tell to watch the EverCast show every Sunday.
No, keep that one. Keep going.
Exactly.
See, like, it's really super weird to me to log into like my Twitter and to constantly be getting tweeted and have, like, I've got 72 followers. I feel famous.
Micro celebrity. Yeah.
Micro celebrity, is that what it is? I'm a micro celebrity.
That's the term. Micro celebrity.
I like that. Be little girl.
As long as you're authentic, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I went from like 50 something up to 9. I'm up at 90 now. I'm like, you guys want to push and you get me up to 100? That'd be kind of cool.
I was in a picture of this Skeksis to my freaking Twitter. Oh.
All right, I just want to point out. Since we started, I jumped up 3. I'm just saying.
No, I had 8 followers in just the podcast.
So, I was gonna say, I know real quick. We wanted to kind of see the app. I don't know if you guys can see it right there, and from the rewards, I got 500 station cash, and then I got an XP potion for EverQuest 1 and 2, and then I got the EQ Next music.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
So if you guys liked that EQ Next music they played on stage, this is a more clear, full version, and you can send the link to yourself. Just copy it. It opens up in a browser on your phone. Send it to yourself. You can download it, and it's very beautiful. So,
man, I didn't really feel like I had time to mess around with that app at SOELive, but I wish I had. 'Cause a lot of it was dependent on that.
See now, well, I wasn't there.
Right.
So EQ Nexus, their forums kind of blew up, and they were helping everybody, it's like, oh, it's just the symbols. Like the symbols in the like on the quest are like, all right, so somebody went in and went into Photoshop and blew up the symbols and just like you just take pictures of them and you lock the quest that way. And then one of the quests, some of them were really easy. They were super easy. You just had to follow them. But one of the other quests was kind of solving riddles. And by the way, all the pictures you take with the ARG, the black and whites, somebody, if you find one of the forums, and you can do the quest. It's pretty easy.
Cool.
Takes like
Good
10 minutes.
advice,
Yeah, they're really nice. I mean, like the 10 videos, I watched them all that day. They were super nice. They were great videos. I'll watch them again. You get it's nice to kind of see an in game of Furiona V.
That is cool. All right, everybody. I hate to say it, but we are out of time for After Hours.
Aww.
Yeah, it's already been an hour. We've been on for 2 hours. It's crazy. Guys, reminder, we have an awesome contest going thanks to Kai Lest over there. Show him that dragon one more time. You guys are going to win a crocheted, and I said crocheted this time, a crocheted dragon, blue and gold. It's going to be beautiful EverQuest Next themed. You can call the dragon whatever you want. It's going to be amazing. How do you win? You guys submit art. Any kind of art. It can be a comic, it can be a movie, it can be a drawing, it can be MS Paint, it can be Photoshop, it can be an actual oil painting. You send it in to us at evercast.show@gmail.com or through our Twitter. You have 2 weeks to do so before our next episode where we'll air the art and we will announce the winner. It's going to be a lot of fun, so be sure to join us. And hey, if you guys don't follow us on Twitter yet, be sure to follow us on Twitter at EverCast_show. Let's hit 200 viewers next show. Help us do that. We have a lot of fun doing this, and we really want an example with Rek up here. We really want to be able to bring the entire EverQuest Next community together in one podcast. We want to be able to feature people from different areas of the EverQuest Next world. We had Felden on. He's an EQ2 guru. We had him on last episode. Rek we want to have on in the future. After Hours 2, let's just expand that even further. If you don't want to be a featured guest on the show, and just want to chill out with us, like Rek's doing right now, just join us for After Hours. Have fun with us, talk with the chat, talk with us, and just have some fun. That's what this whole thing's about.
Having callers too, right?
Maybe. Pretty much the After Hours is going to be our callers. If you want to be on After Hours, go ahead and send us an email or direct message. You can't direct message us if we don't follow you. So email us. Let us know you're interested in After Hours. We will add you on Skype. We're not going to give out the Skype name or anything, so we don't get trolled like the what was that? The George Zimmerman case. They bring on a eyewitness over Skype, and they were dumb and didn't block the username. So everyone on the internet had started calling and trolling the court.
Wow.
I know, right? Amateurs. But it's okay. We're computer gurus, so we don't follow those same mistakes.
We also use the After Hours format to answer questions that people ask in the chat channel. We have no problem doing that. Always welcome to have audience participation as many different ways as we can get it.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah,
EverCast rocks.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Don't forget, EverCast is the place to be.